IPTC Photo Metadata Specification was developed by the IPTC for professional use with focus on news and stock photos. The IPTC described it as defining metadata properties with comprehensive sets of fields that allow users to add precise and reliable data about people, locations, and products shown in an image. It also supports dates, names, and identifiers regarding the creation of a photo and a flexible way to express rights information. The IPTC Photo Metadata Specification covers various properties that fall into three categories: administrative, descriptive, and rights-related. Interestingly, the IPTC Photo Metadata Specification does not include technical metadata. This is because the IPTC realized that digital cameras already embedded various technical metadata into the stored images and saw no point in duplicating metadata properties. Instead, the IPTC Photo Metadata Specification includes a second appendix that provides a series of recommendations regarding persistent technical photo metadata, including suggested workflows to preserve metadata. Now, the IPTC Photo Metadata Specification actually encompasses two different metadata schemas: the IPTC Core 1.2 and IPTC Extension 1.3. According to the IPTC, the core schema has a higher backward compatibility but less refined metadata, while the IPTC Core and Extension together offers refined and specialized metadata but restricted backwards compatibility. Specifications for each property include some elements much like other metadata schemas. Each property specification includes a name, definition, user notes, implementation notes, and field labels. But the properties also include some other elements. For instance, properties include a cardinality, which represents whether a property is mandatory or not. Instead of using words like mandatory and optional, IPTC uses numerical values. For instance, the number 1 represents a mandatory property. 0.1 means that a single occurrence of the property is optional. 1.unbounded means that one occurrence is mandatory and multiple occurrences are optional. Interestingly, the IPTC does not outline a provision for a property that is wholly optional and allows for multiple instances. But a few of the different properties outlined seem to imply that that is allowed. Now, each property includes a required CV aspect that serves as an identifier for a controlled vocabulary that must be used with this property, which would presumably help with things like subject headings, languages, places, and so on. Properties also include a basic data type that is a recommended basic data type. The basic data types include things like free text, controlled vocabulary code, date, time, string, URL, and numeric. This approach may eliminate some of the variance created by catalogers, especially with questions as to whether values should be represented in word or numeric form. The basic data types also allow for metadata structures that hold different values. The creator's contact info, one of the IPTC core properties, is a great example of one of these structures. It contains 7 subproperties, including things like the creator's address, email, phone number, and website URL. A handful of property names are labeled with legacy or deprecated. The former is used if the IPTC extension provides a better solution to annotate the information about an image than the IPTC core does. The latter is used for properties which should not be used any longer, and may include a recommendation to use a different property. Property specifications also include 2 technical implementations for Adobe's XMP and IPTC's NewsML G2 standard, as well as mappings between the XMP and IPTC's Information Interchange Model, the IIM standard. 2 additional namespaces are used in IPTC Core, Dublin Core and Photoshop. Dublin Core title, subject, creator, rights, and description elements are used, while various Photoshop elements regarding the details of creation and attribution are included. Overall, the IPTC Photo Metadata Specification seems to be well suited for its mission of describing professional photos and stock images. The two schemas allow for organizations to choose between more fully described resources and better backwards compatibility. Furthermore, the IPTC's decision to not include technical metadata elements prevents a great deal of wasteful duplication. So as a specialized set of metadata schemas for a particular purpose, the IPTC photo metadata specification seems to be a really good one. Thank you.